Hello, everyone. Imagine stepping into a courtroom packed wall to wall, every seat taken, the air thick with anticipation. This is courtroom number 4 in the Eastern District of Virginia, and today, a battle of resilience and truth is about to unfold. At the center of it all stands Karoline Leavitt. She's poised, calm on the outside, wearing a deep blue blazer that blends perfectly with the polished oak behind her. But inside, nerves buzz just beneath the surface, every sense alert, every muscle ready for what's coming. Karoline isn't just a witness today. She's at the heart of a fierce legal storm. Opposite her, presiding over the courtroom, is Judge Douglas Whitaker. His elevated bench towers over the room like a fortress of authority, and his cold gray eyes scan the courtroom with a sharpness that sends chills through anyone caught in his gaze. He's a man who commands respect, but his style leans more toward intimidation than fairness. The gallery is packed not only with reporters scribbling notes and snapping pictures, but also with aides, legal analysts, and curious onlookers who can sense the tension in the room. Some lean forward, eager to catch every word, while others sit frozen, sensing this isn't just another routine hearing, it's a showdown. Seated at the defense table is Pam Bondi, Karoline's lead attorney. Her reputation precedes her calm, sharp, and strategic. She watches every move the judge makes with unwavering focus, a steady hand on her legal pad, ready to strike when the moment calls for it. As the session begins, the courtroom feels like a chessboard. Every word, every gesture, every glance holds meaning. Karoline takes the witness stand, her voice steady despite the storm brewing around her. Judge Whitaker wastes no time, his tone clipped and authoritative. "Miss Leavitt," he says, "this is the second time you've interrupted these proceedings." At that moment, Karoline's attorney shifts, preparing to object. But Pam signals patience, a quiet command to hold fire. Karoline takes a slow breath and responds without hesitation. "Your Honor, I'm not interrupting. I'm correcting a factual misstatement." The room reacts instantly, ripple of surprise. A few reporters scribble faster. Whitaker's lips tighten, the cold glare intensifying. "This is a court of law, not a campaign rally," he replies sharply. "You were warned." Karoline holds her ground. "With all due respect, Your Honor, it's my duty to clarify the facts." The tension escalates. The judge accuses her of disregarding courtroom procedures, calls her behavior disruptive and deliberate. The air grows heavier. Pam leans forward, pen poised, but she doesn't write. Instead, she reads the judge's strategy like an open book, waiting for the perfect moment. Then comes the judge's hammer. "I find Miss Leavitt in contempt of court." The words echo loudly, reverberating through every corner of the room. Gasps erupt, whispers ripple. The bailiff moves toward Karoline, the weight of the moment sinking in. But Karoline shows no panic, no tears. Instead, she stands gracefully, adjusting her blazer as though posing for a photograph rather than facing arrest. "Hands behind your back," the bailiff instructs quietly. The cold click of handcuffs snaps through the courtroom like a verdict. Reporters seize the moment, some secretly recording on their phones despite camera bans. Even the prosecutor looks unsettled. This isn't the typical courtroom drama, it's personal now. Karoline's attorney immediately rises, objecting to the harsh ruling. Pam, calm and composed, watches the judge. Her mind races. She senses the judge's move is more than procedural, it's a power play. But Pam is ready. Before the bailiff can escort Karoline away, Pam stands. The courtroom shifts, a current of tension replaced by something else: hope, determination, resistance. Pam speaks with measured calm. "Your Honor, we formally object to this ruling." The judge barely flinches, but Pam pulls out a documented emergency stay signed by another federal judge, halting any enforcement of the contempt ruling. The court clerk quickly processes the document, the room buzzing with a mix of disbelief and admiration. Whitaker reads the stay aloud, his expression tight but controlled. "This changes everything," Pam says quietly to Karoline. "We're not done yet." The judge calls a recess, retreating to chambers, while the courtroom holds its breath. Karoline sits, cuffs removed, but the weight of what just happened lingering like a storm cloud. Pam leans in, reassuring, "You're not going anywhere." And just like that, the stage is set for a battle that goes beyond facts and figures a fight for truth, respect, and justice. Welcome back. The courtroom is back in session, but the tension that filled the air before the recess hasn't faded, it's only grown thicker. Everyone knows this isn't just about a case anymore. It's about power, resilience, and the fight to have one's voice heard. Judge Whitaker returns, his robe flowing behind him, but there's a slight stiffness in his movements, a subtle crack in his usual commanding presence. He announces, "We will proceed with the evidentiary portion of today's hearing. The court acknowledges the federal stay, but will continue within its remaining jurisdiction." The prosecution rises, confidenter, so they want everyone to believe. Eric Samuels steps forward, carrying the air of someone ready to push back hard. He calls the first witness, Andrew Keller, a senior labor market analyst from the Department of Labor. Keller approaches the stand, professional and composed. His wire-rimmed glasses catch the courtroom light as he clears his throat and begins. "I reviewed Miss Leavitt's public remarks from her televised interview in February, specifically her statements regarding projected job losses under proposed federal policies." Samuels presses him. "Did you compare those statements against the department's official data?" "I did," Keller replies. The prosecutor cues a visuala chart comparing Karoline's cited figures against official projections. The numbers tell a stark story. Karoline's projections estimate around 450,000 job losses, while the department's most conservative estimates hover near 175,000. The courtroom reacts. Reporters scribble, some eyebrows raise, and Karoline's steady exterior is tested by a quickening heartbeat. Samuels asks, "So, would you say Miss Leavitt exaggerated the potential job losses?" "By over 150%, Keller confirms. Pam Bondi leans in, whispering to Karoline, "Don't react. Let them play their hand." Karoline nods, jaw clenched, eyes sharp. The prosecutor continues, "In your expert opinion, are Miss Leavitt's statements consistent with the department's data?" "No," Keller says. "There is a significant and misleading variance." It's a blow to Karoline, but Pam knows the fight isn't over. Karoline's lead attorney, Daniel Reeves, rises confidently for cross-examination. "Mr. Keller," he begins, "are you aware of the sources Miss Leavitt used for her projections?" "I was not provided with them," Keller admits cautiously. Reeves presses, "Is it possible she relied on alternative models that account for regional or industry-specific trends?" "Possible," Keller concedes, "but those would not align with official data." Reeves carefully walks through the nuances of economic modeling. "Would you agree projections can vary depending on assumptions used?" "Yes," Keller nods. "And federal data often shows national averages, while other studies might focus on regional impacts?" "That is correct." A few murmurs spread through the gallery. Reeves is chipping away at the prosecution's argument. "Would you say then that while you disagree with Miss Leavitt's numbers, you cannot definitively say her figures were knowingly false?" Keller hesitates. "I can't speak to intent." Reeves sits. Pam smiles faintly. This is exactly where they want the record. Judge Whitaker isn't done. He pivots, asking Keller if there is evidence Karoline coordinated with political advocacy groups or violated campaign laws. Keller says no. The prosecution falters, and Pam leans toward Karoline, whispering, "He's fishing for something bigger, trying to connect dots that aren't there." Karoline's expression remains composed but determined. The prosecutor declines to pursue further, signaling a retreat. The courtroom feels the shift. The tide is turning. Pam knows Whitaker's strategy. When you can't break the facts, try to question motives. But Karoline and her team are ready for this new challenge. As the session pauses for a short recess, the spectators, lawyers, and press recognize this case is about more than just number sits, about integrity and standing firm in the face of pressure. Pam looks at Karoline, quietly confident. "We're 3 steps ahead." And with that, they prepare for the battle to come. As the courtroom empties briefly for recess, the air is thick with anticipation. Behind closed doors, Karoline Leavitt's legal team gathers, led by the formidable Pam Bondi. The battle in that courtroom is far from over. It's only getting sharper. In a quiet conference room just steps away from the courtroom, the team pores over every detail, every statement, every piece of evidence. The stakes are clear. This isn't just about numbers anymore. It's about truth, credibility, and holding those in power accountable. Pam lays out their next move, a bold and calculated plan. "We're going to file a formal complaint," she says firmly. Judicial misconduct. Whitaker has crossed the line, issuing a contempt ruling before the defense could finish presenting evidence. That's a clear violation of procedure. The room nods in agreement, understanding the gravity. This complaint isn't about public spectacle. It's a surgical strike aimed at the system itself. It will be submitted under seal to the Fourth Circuit's Judicial Oversight Committee, away from media noise and public frenzy. Karoline listens intently, calm but resolute. She knows that quiet persistence often wins over loud protests. "Will they take it seriously?" she asks. Pam's eyes lock onto hers. They have to. The violations are documented and verifiable. This isn't just about Ute. It's about the integrity of the court. As the team prepares the sealed complaint, they keep their strategy close. No leaks, no headlines, just the law doing its work behind the scenes. The next morning, Karoline returns to courtroom 4. Fewer spectators fill the seats. This is now a serious legal battle watched closely by those who understand its importance. Judge Whitaker enters, his demeanor noticeably subdued. The commanding edge he once wielded seems dulled, replaced by a cautious neutrality. He opens the session, acknowledging receipt of all testimony, documentation, and the pending complaint. The prosecution calls its next witness Melissa Hayes, a segment producer who had coordinated the televised interview that sparked much of the controversy. Melissa's testimony is straightforward. She confirms that the interview's content was prepared solely by Karoline's team, with no outside political influence. She was responsible for scheduling and logistics, and denies any interference or guidance from political advocacy groups. Under cross-examination, Melissa reiterates that the interview was standard practicino, unusual instructions, no spin, no hidden agendas. The courtroom listens, the atmosphere shifting. The prosecution's case shows signs of unraveling. Whitaker acknowledges the testimony, but reminds everyone that the defense still carries the burden to explain discrepancies between Karoline's statements and federal data. Pam leans into Karoline, whispering, "He's retreating to procedure. That's a defensive move. Tomorrow, we push back even harder." Karoline's resolve strengthens. This fight is far from over. As the gavel strikes to end the day's session, Pam quietly reviews her notes, preparing for the next phase. She knows that their quiet, methodical approach is already wearing down the opposition. This isn't just a courtroom drama. It's a testament to the power of perseverance, legal strategy, and standing firm in the pursuit of justice. The next morning, courtroom 4 feels different. Gone is the earlier frenzy. A calm focus has settled over the space. Those who remain are the ones who understand the gravity of what's at stake. Judge Douglas Whitaker takes his seat, his usual commanding presence now tempered by the weight of pending scrutiny. His voice is steady but lacks the sharp edge from days before. This court has reviewed all testimony, documentation, and closing arguments presented during these proceedings. Karoline sits poised, calm but alert. Pam Bondi remains composed, eyes fixed on the proceedings, every muscle ready. Whitaker continues, "While discrepancies in labor projections remain, this court finds no evidence of deliberate or coordinated falsehoods by Miss Leavitt." A ripple of muted relief spreads through the courtroom. Even the prosecution team leans back, the tension in their shoulders easing. But Whitaker isn't finished. Furthermore, there is no basis for sanctions or disciplinary action. The words carry weight. Justice, it seems, is beginning to tilt toward truth. Pam exhales quietly, but shows no outward emotion. She knows this moment is significant, but the fight has always been bigger than a single ruling. Karoline's lead attorney leans in, whispering, "We're clear. We did it." Whitaker adds a final note. The court remains concerned about the tone and approach taken during testimony. Pam rises promptly, her voice firm and respectful. "Your Honor, with respect, those concerns were addressed and dismissed under the federal stay. They should not influence any conclusions or public statements." Whitaker's gaze hardens momentarily, but he offers no dispute. This hearing is concluded. The gavel strikes once more this time. It carries the sound of closure. As the courtroom empties, Pam gathers her notes silently, while Karoline turns toward her with a quiet smile. "It's not just my victory," Karoline says softly. it's ours. Behind the scenes, the judicial complaint filed days earlier moves forward. Though sealed from the public eye, it sends a clear message. Accountability is in motion. Within days, Judge Whitaker submits his early retirement notice. No press conference, no grand statement, just a brief memo signaling the end of his tenure. The Fourth Circuit does not release the full findings, but the message is unmistakable. The system works when people have courage and the law is followed. Pam and Karoline choose silence, declining interviews or public celebrations. Their victory speaks for itself. The press picks up the story. Legal experts praise the case as a landmark for judicial transparency and fairness. The story becomes an inspiration, a reminder that truth and resilience can prevail even against daunting authority. In the aftermath of the courtroom battle, the story of Karoline Leavitt and Pam Bondi stands as a powerful testament to the strength of perseverance and the impact of strategic thinking. Karoline, once under intense scrutiny and facing serious accusations, emerges not only cleared of all charges, but also as a symbol of resilience. Her unwavering commitment to telling the truth, even in the face of overwhelming pressure, inspired many watching closely. Pam Bondi, with her sharp legal mind and steady composure, demonstrated how patience and a well-planned approach can dismantle even the most intimidating forces. She wasn't just defending a client, she was fighting for the integrity of the legal process itself. The case showed that when truth is combined with clear evidence and strong strategy, it can outlast power plays and intimidation. It was a reminder that justice doesn't always shout it often, speaks softly but persistently until it can no longer be ignored. This story resonates beyond the walls of the courtroom. It's about standing firm when challenged, about believing in due process, and about the importance of having allies who fight with you. For many, Karoline's experience is a beacon of hope. It highlights that facing adversity with dignity and determination can lead to vindication and respect. Pam's role underscores the value of expertise and calm leadership when navigating difficult battles. Her decision to pursue the judicial misconduct complaint quietly but effectively is a lesson in how to seek accountability without creating unnecessary noise. Together, their journey encourages all of us to remember that the path to justice is rarely easy. It requires courage, faith in the system, and above all, a commitment to never back down. While this chapter closes with victory, the implications remain. It's a call to action for legal professionals and citizens alike to demand fairness and transparency. Karoline and Pam's story inspires a broader conversation about the role of the judiciary and the checks and balances that keep it honest. It reminds us that no individual, no matter how powerful, is above the law. As this story circulates, it challenges others facing similar struggles to stand strong, knowing that resilience and strategic action can change the course of their lives. In the end, it's a celebration of truth's quiet power and a tribute to those who dare to defend it. As the courtroom reconvened, a new chapter in the battle unfolded. Judge Douglas Whitaker, though weakened by the emerging legal challenges and internal scrutiny, was far from ready to concede defeat. His strategy now shifted from direct confrontation to undermining Karoline Leavitt's credibility. With a measured tone, Whitaker acknowledged the federal stay but insisted the court would continue its work within remaining jurisdictional bounds. His eyes, sharp as ever, scanned the courtroom, signaling he planned to regain control not by force, but through questioning Karoline's integrity. The prosecution stepped forward once again, this time with a subtle yet pointed approach. They aimed to sow doubt about Karoline's motives, suggesting that her data and statements were part of a coordinated political effort rather than independent analysis. Pam Bondi and the defense team were prepared for this pivot. They had anticipated that if facts and evidence couldn't be challenged, the opposition would attack the messenger. Whitaker probed carefully, asking if Karoline had coordinated with political advocacy groups or received support that might influence her public statements. The questions hovered, casting shadows of suspicion. Yet, under cross-examination, witnesses from Karoline's team and independent experts firmly denied any coordination or political influence. Melissa Hayes, the segment producer from Karoline's televised interview, confirmed that all content and scheduling came directly from Karoline's office, free from external agendas. Pam's strategy was clear: let the facts speak. By maintaining transparency and reinforcing the independence of their work, The defense dismantled the attempts to cast Karoline as a pawn in political games. The judge's subtle attempts to challenge Karoline's credibility faced resistance at every turn. Each accusation was met with calm, factual rebuttals, further strengthening Karoline's position. The courtroom felt the tide shifting once more. Whitaker's efforts to regain the upper hand appeared increasingly tenuous. Pam leaned toward Karoline, whispering, "They're trying to distract with insinuations, but we've got the truth." Karoline nodded, her resolve unshaken. The day's proceedings concluded with the court acknowledging the testimony but emphasizing that the defense still bore responsibility to clarify discrepancies. As the gavel struck, signaling the day's end, a quiet confidence settled over Karoline's team. They knew that while the judge's tactics had changed, their foundation of truth and preparation remained solid. Behind the scenes, the judicial complaint and ongoing investigations into Whitaker's conduct continued their course, reminding all involved that accountability was on the horizon. This phase of the battle highlighted a critical lesson. When direct confrontation fails, those in power may resort to undermining character and credibility. But with resilience, transparency, and steadfast strategy, such attempts can be overcome. Karoline and Pam's journey through this stage reinforced the power of truth backed by unwavering resolve. As the courtroom battles waged on, behind the scenes, Pam Bondi and Karoline Leavitt's legal team were preparing a decisive move, one that would strike at the heart of the judicial system itself. Pam, known for her calm and strategic mind, recognized that the repeated procedural violations by Judge Douglas Whitaker could not be ignored. The contempt ruling issued prematurely, the suppression of key defense questions, and the overall aggressive tactics were clear breaches of judicial conduct. Rather than escalating publicly, Pam opted for a measured approach, a formal complaint to the Fourth Circuit's Judicial Oversight Committee. This move was surgical, filed under seal, away from the media spotlight, but powerful enough to demand accountability. The complaint detailed multiple infractions: Whitaker's disregard for proper courtroom procedure, the issuance of contempt sanctions before allowing a full defense, and the suppression of evidence and testimony essential to a fair trial. Pam's decision to keep the complaint confidential underscored her belief in process over publicity. She understood that public pressure could backfire, allowing the judge to portray himself as a victim. Instead, the quiet strength of the law and oversight mechanisms would serve justice best. Karoline, though anxious, trusted Pam's judgment. This was a battle not just for her innocence, but for the integrity of the judicial system. On the morning the complaint was filed, Pam personally delivered the sealed documents to the administrative offices of the Fourth Circuit. The atmosphere was solemn, the corridors quiet, echoing only the sound of her footsteps. The clerk confirmed receipt with a respectful nod. "This will be forwarded immediately," he assured. "No cameras, no headlines, just the steady, relentless advance of accountability." Back in courtroom 4, the atmosphere shifted subtly. Whitaker's once commanding presence was increasingly overshadowed by the weight of formal scrutiny. The complaint loomed like an invisible force, reminding all parties that the system, when functioning properly, has checks and balances to prevent abuse. Pam and Karoline remained focused, drawing strength from each other and the knowledge that their fight was bigger than any one courtroom. This moment marked a turning point, a demonstration that courage combined with quiet strategy could bring powerful figures to account. It also highlighted the importance of patience, discipline, and belief in the legal process. Pam's actions sent a clear message. No matter how intimidating the opposition, the pursuit of justice requires both courage and careful navigation of the system's channels. Karoline's story became a beacon to others who face injustice, showing that standing firm and trusting the process can lead to victory even when the odds seem daunting. After months of tension, courtroom battles, and quiet strategizing behind the scenes, the story of Karoline Leavitt and Pam Bondi reaches a powerful turning point tone that resonates far beyond the walls of courtroom number 4. The legal fight culminates not only in Karoline's full exoneration, but also in a broader victory for transparency, accountability, and respect for the rule of law. As the dust settles, Judge Douglas Whitaker quietly submits his early retirement. No grand announcements, no press conferences, just a simple memo signaling the end of his judicial tenure. It's a clear sign that the system's checks and balances worked even when the opposition seemed formidable. Karoline and Pam choose not to seek the spotlight. They decline interviews, resisting the urge to celebrate publicly. Their victory is not about femmes, about the principle that justice must prevail. In the following days, legal analysts and media outlets pick up the story. Editorials praise the courage and tenacity of Karoline and Pam, highlighting how their commitment to truth and due process overcame intimidation and procedural misconduct. This case becomes a beacon of hope, illustrating that the legal system, though imperfect, can uphold fairness when people have the will and the strategy to pursue it. For Karoline, the experience is transformative. She emerges not just cleared of all charges, but as a symbol of resilience and dignity. Her calm under pressure and unwavering dedication to truth inspire many who face their own battles for justice. Pam Bondi's role solidifies her reputation as a defender of integrity and a master strategist who knows when to fight publicly and when to wield quiet power through the system's mechanisms. Together, their story sparks important conversations about judicial accountability and the importance of procedural fairness. It reminds legal professionals and citizens alike that no one is above the law, not even a judge. The impact of their journey extends beyond this single case. It encourages others who feel powerless to stand up, to trust in the system, and to seek justice with patience and determination. The courtroom battles, the sealed complaints, the quiet moments of strategy all paint a picture of how real change happens, not through shouting, but through perseverance, evidence, and faith in the rule of law. In the end, Karoline Leavitt's story is more than a legal victory. It's a testament to the power of courage, collaboration, and the enduring pursuit of truth. It stands as a reminder to us all. When faced with injustice, resilience, and a clear strategy can light the way to justice. The story of Karoline Leavitt and Pam Bondi extends far beyond the courtroom, leaving a lasting legacy of courage, integrity, and the unyielding pursuit of justice. Karoline's journey, from facing serious accusations to her ultimate vindication, embodies the strength found in standing firm for one's truth. Her unwavering resolve inspired not only those present in the courtroom, but countless others who watched from afar, reminding them that perseverance matters. Pam Bondi's strategic brilliance and quiet strength highlight how leadership guided by principle can dismantle even the most entrenched opposition. Her choice to pursue justice through the proper channels, without sensationalism, underscores the power of patience and careful planning. Together, their story serves as a powerful example of how the legal system's checks and balances, when engaged fully and courageously, can function effectively. It reassures us that no individual, regardless of position or power, is above the law. This case sparked conversations nationwide about judicial conduct and the importance of holding those in power accountable. It opened doors for reforms aimed at increasing transparency and fairness within the judiciary. Karoline and Pam's experience also inspired legal professionals, activists, and everyday citizens to embrace resilience in the face of adversity. It reminded them that truth, backed by solid evidence and strategy, can overcome intimidation and injustice. Moreover, their story highlights the critical role that allies and advocates play in the pursuit of justice. Pam's unwavering support and legal expertise were instrumental in protecting Karoline's rights and ensuring due process was respected. As their narrative circulates, it challenges others facing similar struggles to believe in the system while also being prepared to challenge its flaws. It encourages a balance of faith and vigilance. Ultimately, Karoline Leavitt and Pam Bondi's journey is a tribute to the quiet but powerful forces that uphold democracy and fairness. Their victory is not just personal, it's a collective win for all who seek justice and dignity. It reminds us that standing up against wrongdoing requires courage, wisdom, and the right support. But with those, even the most daunting battles can be won. Their legacy continues to inspire, serving as a beacon for future generations who will face their own challenges but can draw strength from the story of resilience and integrity.